I didn't expect the room to feel so small. It was a long table, technically. One of those polished ones that tries to make a dinner feel like an occasion. But halfway through the meal, everything narrowed. Conversations blurred into a kind of background hum, like I was listening from the next room instead of sitting right there. My brother was laughing. He does that easily, always has. People orbit him without effort. I used to think it was something I'd grow into if I stayed close enough. I didn't still. I showed up. Late, but present. That's how it's been with me for years, arriving just after things have already settled. The envelope had been in my coat since I walked in. Not flashy, just something practical. I'd spent a few weeks arranging it, calling around, negotiating, making sure it would actually help instead of just sounding generous, photographer covered. Deposit secured. 5,000 to get them started, not a grand gesture, just useful. When there was a natural lull, plates being cleared, people shifting in their seats, I reached into my coat and slid the card onto the table toward my brother. For the wedding, I said. Some of it's already handled. He looked at it, then at me. There was a flicker of something, surprise maybe, but it didn't settle into anything clear before his fiancée leaned in. She smiled first. It was the kind of smile that works in photos. Then she said, just loud enough, wow, he's really trying to matter again. It didn't land like a joke. Not quite. No one laughed. But no one corrected her either. That was the part that stayed with me. The silence that followed. Not sharp, not dramatic. Just unclaimed. Like the comment belonged exactly where it had been placed. I felt it register in my chest before I had words for it. Not anger, not even embarrassment in the usual sense. More like recognition. A confirmation of something I hadn't fully admitted to myself. That this wasn't a place where my effort translated the way I thought it did. I picked the card back up, slid it into my coat, stood. Let me try less, I said. It wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. My brother started to say something. My name, I think. But I didn't wait for it to form into a sentence. I just nodded once, more to the table than to anyone specific, and stepped away. The hallway outside the dining room was quieter. Carpeted. Muted. I didn't leave the building right away. I stood near the front for a minute, letting the noise from inside fade into something indistinct. Then I took out my phone. There wasn't much to undo, technically. That's the thing about arrangements. You can set them up cleanly, but they remain tied to whoever made them. A couple of short calls. One confirmation, professional, neutral. Yes, please release the booking. No, it won't be rescheduled. Yes, you can notify the client directly. I ended the last call and slipped my phone back into my pocket. 10 minutes is longer than it sounds when you're not rushing. I was halfway down the block when my phone buzzed again. I didn't need to check it to know what it was, but I did anyway. Missed call. Then another, a message from my brother. What just happened? They're saying the venue canceled. I didn't respond right away. There wasn't anything urgent in me pushing to explain. I kept walking. The air outside was colder than I expected. It helped. Gave me something immediate to focus on instead of replaying the moment at the table. Another message came through. Did you do something? I stopped at the corner, watching a car idle at the light. The driver was tapping the steering wheel, impatient over nothing that actually mattered. I typed, then erased it. Dehydrated again. I stepped back. That was all. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, came back then. We already paid rent with that account. I read that twice, not because I didn't understand it, but because I did. There it was, the part no one had said out loud earlier, that what I brought wasn't just symbolic, it was structural, quietly holding something up that people assumed would stay standing. I didn't feel satisfaction, not really, just a kind of stillness. Another message came in, this time from a number I didn't recognize. Her, you could just talk to us. I looked at it for a long moment. There were a lot of possible replies. Explanations about intent, about respect, about how words, even quiet ones, land when they're allowed to. I didn't send any of them because the truth was simpler than all that. I had tried to talk. Not with speeches or confrontations, but with presence, with showing up, with offering something steady, and that had been interpreted in a way I couldn't correct in real time. So I didn't try to correct it now. I put my phone back in my pocket and crossed the street. Behind me, somewhere up the block, the restaurant door opened and closed as people moved in and out. Dealing with what had shifted, I kept walking, not faster, not slower, just, without carrying anything for them anymore. It wasn't victory, it wasn't even relief, exactly, but it was quieter than before. And for the first time in a while, that felt like enough.